Don't you just hate how the sand on Korriban gets in everything?
Here's one little chair for one of you, a bigger chair for two more to curl up.
Number 7. Godzilla 2. Are you fucking kidding me? Top 10. Yeah, top 10 worst games on the NES. Are you freaking kidding? Like, I was so looking forward to Godzilla 2 when it was released. I'm thinking, oh, Godzilla 1 was awesome, and I'm making a sequel. It's gonna be the same thing but better. And instead, you get this crap. This game had potential. It was, you know, it could have been a good thing. But the major problem with this game is that you can't win. There is no way you can win. I tried looking up speedruns, walkthroughs, anything for this game that actually beats a stage. I haven't seen one yet. How are you supposed to win? Anyway, that's for another story. I'm actually going to review that as one of the worst games soon, but I just thought I'd start with that as a joke. So number 7 is actually Godzilla 1. Or just Godzilla, the King of Monsters. I'm sorry, what did I say? Monster of Monsters, because that makes more sense. I thought Godzilla was a king of monsters. Maybe this lost in translation somewhere.
Godzilla says that I should learn to fight my own battles, you know.
Anyway, I was actually shocked to see that most people being AVGN, Angry Video Game Nerd, ThemesOf, actually no, because not most people, but he's the one I saw that actually did not like this game.
This should already be a clue to how half-assed this game is.
And I actually seen some other people really didn't like this either. And I was like, really? Even back then? Like, the game sucks now. I mean, any game from the NES... I'm sorry, let me take that back. Not any game from the NES era, but most games today from the NES era wouldn't be that much appreciated because they're old and dated. But this game, for its time anyway, was, I thought, a classic. I played it a lot. It was one of the first type of games that had a leveling up system that wasn't really an RPG. It was like a punch beat 'em up game with a leveling system. I thought that was really, really cool. But before we go too much into detail about that, I guess I'll just go and start from the beginning. So if you bear through the title screen of this game, which, you know, the music isn't too bad, I thought, you actually get to see the story, which takes an eternity to scroll through, which I'm just going to fast forward for you now, but basically all it's saying is that Planet X is declaring war on Earth, and they're sending all their monsters against Godzilla and Mothra. That's about it. That's the story. So each stage in this game is pretty much a planet within our solar system. The first stage being Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Pluto, Neptune, and then Planet X. I guess Planet X being the exception since it does not exist as far as I know. And I'm surprised Pluto is second to last since it's the one furthest out. But I guess Pluto's not really classified as a planet anymore. It's more of an ice planet or something. But then this is back in the 80s, so none of this is relevant. Why am I still talking? Anyway, so you notice the stages are broken up into a grid-like format, kind of like Conflict was for the NES at the time. It's the first game that comes to mind. And it doesn't play like Conflict, though. This is more of a mix of different genres. It's like an RPG / beat-em-up / strategy. The RPG element only really being the leveling up system, which I thought gave it a nice added touch to the game. Because there's different ways based on the leveling system how you can play it. You can either play it entirely with Godzilla and leveling him up only, or playing entirely with Mothra, but why would you do that? You might as well kill yourself. Or play with them together and level them up equally, which, again, I didn't find out really works very well, but it brings on different challenges. The strategy part being you have to make sure you place your monsters properly and go in the right direction and fight the appropriate monsters. And the beat 'em up part pretty much being the entire game, how you play it. You just go around kicking, punching, using your tail, using your radioactive fire breath, or Mothra's eye beams and wings. I don't know what that's supposed to be. I never really understood, like, why is he dropping wings on people? Is that supposed to be like he flutters really, really hard and that's wind impacting them? I don't know. Mothra, all I know is Mothra fucking sucks. Don't even pick Mothra. Waste of time. I did play the entire game once with Mothra all the way through, and he does get pretty strong if you take the time and patience to level him up, but it's boring. The only advantage Mothra has over Godzilla is the fact he can fly over things. And that's it. Godzilla's a million times better. It just, Godzilla's easier to get hit. But when Mothra gets hit, he just keeps flying back to the bottom of the left corner of the screen every time. It's really irritating. Especially if there's a million things on the screen. Anyway, let's get back to the point here. So let's take Earth, for example, the first stage. So you'll see on the screen you have Godzilla, Mothra, and two other monsters. They're supposed to be what I thought was from other Godzilla movies, but not necessarily. I guess they're from other Toho movies? Because I don't remember ever seeing these two in any Godzilla movie, not that I've seen every single one. But still, you'd think they'd stand out. So Godzilla, otherwise known as the Space Amoeba, also released in Japan as, originally released in Japan as Godzilla Ganymede Chemibus Kasen, exclamation mark, I don't know what this stuff is. In North America, it was released as Yog Monster from Space in the 70s. It was his own separate film. I don't think it really started anything else. And Mogira was in the Mysterians. He was a robot used by Mysterians to destroy humanity. He's a giant robot. Again, not in the Godzilla movie at the time. I think he came in a later Godzilla movie. Again, they're just all Toho monsters. So, but when you're a kid at the time, and I've watched a lot of Godzilla movies at that point, I'm like, what are these monsters? I don't remember seeing any of them. It's kind of a letdown. Why couldn't they show monsters that that I've seen in movies? And they do later on. So the first stage, Earth, starts off with two monsters, but as you progress through the game, you encounter more and more monsters. The next planet being Mars, you run into a monster called Varan. Now, I'd never heard of Varan at that time either. Turns out I don't think he ever was in any Godzilla movie. Again, he's a Toho monster, and he starred in Varan the Unbelievable, or in Japan is known as Giant Monster Varan. And he's the most useless monster in the game. Seriously, he's the third one you encounter. You think he'd be tougher than the first two, but no, he doesn't hurt you. Seriously, play it. Let him hit you. Don't move. He will not hurt you. He will never kill you. He's like Godzilla. Godzilla also does not hurt you. He just pins you into a corner and annoys the shit out of you. They don't hurt you. Varan and Godzilla do not hurt you. They cannot kill you. So I'm like, maybe they're just put in there for fun? Like, otherwise, like, what's the point if there's no challenge to them at all? Don't worry, the other monsters do get really challenging, but these two are like, okay, they're just stock or needed to fill up some space, or what's the point? They don't hurt you. Even Mogira hurts you a lot compared to these two, and he's a second monster, so anyway, that's found that really weird. And after that, the next planet, Jupiter, I run into Hedorah. I'm like, finally, a monster I recognize, the Smog Monster, and Godzilla vs. Hedorah. So that's the first monster I finally recognized. I'm like, oh, it's about time. And the next one being Baragaon. Now, I didn't recognize him either. He sounded familiar. And want to know what movie Baragaon starred in back in the day? 1965. Frankenstein Conquers the World. I'd never heard of this movie, and when I first heard of the movie, I'm like, I gotta see this. I still have it to this day, but like, Frankenstein conquers the world and he fights giant monsters? Since when is Frankenstein a giant? I don't know, but I gotta see this film. I mean, it's strictly Japanese, right? But still. Okay, so that's what he starred in, and I guess later on, he actually did star in Destroy All Monsters in 1968, so I guess he wasn't a Godzilla film, I just didn't recognize him. But this is strictly going off Wikipedia, so who knows how accurate that is. And after that, for sure, you'll start recognizing the rest of the monsters. After Baragaon, the next stage, you'll see Gigan. Who doesn't know who Gigan is? He's one of my favorite monsters of all time. Got the friggin' razor blades in his chest, and he cuts up Godzilla in the movie, and blood everywhere, and yeah, so he's awesome. that's Mecha Godzilla. Who doesn't know who that is? He kind of looks really lame in this game, but it's NES, so what can you expect? The Ghidorah, or Ghidra, or I don't know, what is his real name? The three-headed monster? Everyone knows who that is. He's one of the most famous Godzilla monsters ever. He's the final one, and he's frigging tough. I mean, he's the only one that gives you a real challenge. Even if you do level Godzilla up to the max, he's still tough. In the background, you'll see whenever I actually did fight him in the game and played the whole thing through, he killed me a couple times before I actually got him. Because the thing about this game with these monsters, like I said with Godzilla, Godzilla, for example, will pin you into a corner. You can't move. It's completely random. It's up to the AI and what it wants to do. If it decides he's going to pin you in a corner, that's what he's going to do. You can't stop it. Nothing you can do with Godzilla. But the good thing with Godzilla is that he, again, can't hurt you. Whereas Guardiane, he pins you in a corner, you're pretty much dead unless he decides to back off. But at least with Guardiane, you have a chance to kind of kick him away if you do it right, and he doesn't necessarily get the chance to pin you if you do it right. Ghidorah, yeah, he's like Godzilla. You have no chance. You can't kick him away. You have no way out of it. If he pins you in a corner and decides he doesn't want to move, which is how I died the first 2 times, then you're dead. And that's really annoying, because you're like, fuck, you have to replay the whole stage again, because he decided he wants to pin you in a corner. Unless you play emulators, I keep saying that. And save states, and you don't have to worry about that problem. But imagine back in the day, when you enter a huge password. That's one of the things about this game, is a huge, lovely passwords. Entering this whole password to play the stage, to get to the very end, because Ghidorah doesn't move from his spot. You have to fight through all the monsters, get to the very end. If he decides to pin you in a corner, dead. Re-enter the password, redo it again. And oh my god, it's like a waste of time. So it's really frustrating when you fight him. But when you beat him, it's like, yay!
Wow.
Let's not get to the ending yet. Let's just go back to the beginning here again. So each stage, or tile on each stage, consists of different things you'll notice. Some being trees or wilderness, volcanoes. That's supposed to be jungle, alien space jungle, I guess. Weird subspace things. The subspace, or the portal-looking ones, will have a different kind of mini-boss to them, so you get bonus experience for killing it. And the mini-bosses can be like a weird-looking mushroom thing. I think these are supposed to be from the film Tango Fungus of Terror, or Attack of the Mushroom People, another Toho film from the 60s. I don't really know. I was trying to look it up, and that's the only thing I could find in terms of Toho and mushrooms. So I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But if you fight these things, they give you more experience, and like a mini boss. They're pretty straightforward, but can be tough because sometimes they'll launch out these weird dome things, asteroids. I don't know what they are, but they kick the crap out of you if you don't face them properly. You can blow them up if you do it right, but otherwise you're better off backing to the far end of the screen and let it plow through you. If you don't do it right, like say if you jump up funny like this and it comes, see what it's doing? Yeah, then you die. That was so annoying. The other mini boss you could fight is a giant warship looking thing with a drill at the end that also launches those dumb asteroid dome thingies that can kill you in like one hit. Not one hit, but again, when you kill it, it gives you tons of experience. So that's pretty cool. I'm not sure what Toho film that spaceship is from. I'm too lazy to look it up. So those are only 2 mini bosses you come across. The other type of stage things are like dome, like alien city type of thing, and mecha cities. I don't know. Whatever these other ones are, they're all different types of stages you go through. Each stage has its own little annoyances. Some of them are really short and straightforward. Some of them are really lengthy and annoying. My most annoyed type of stage is probably the Earth ones, actually. The wilderness-looking ones. And with these stupid satellite dishes that shoot lightning at you. There's also the volcano ones that have a lot of those stupid asteroid bulb thingies. I hate those freaking thingies. I wish I could freaking go to hell and die.
God, jeez!
otherwise easiest ones are the ones with those weird blobby aliens in them. If you kill the orange ones, they give you your special abilities up, which I don't know why they're only found in this stage. It'd be helpful in some other ones, but you only get those type of power-ups here. So like if you use your fire breath, you notice your special goes down. If you kill those orange things, it'll put your special back up. You don't even need it here. These things don't hurt you. Like the purple ones, I guess, are supposed to drain your life. They don't do anything really. You could sit there and they could swarm around you, and you're like, okay, what is the point of the stage? Is this a programming error? What are these things? No, you know what? I need to know what the hell these things are. I mean, I've already determined that most of the things from this game are clearly from a Toho film of some sort. You know, like those mushroom things. If I look up Toho Mushroom, I found Matango. If I look up Toho Spaceship, I found War in Space. You know, but if I type in Toho Purple Blob Aliens, I find nothing. I mean, what are these things? I mean, there's no hint to what these things are. If you look up like anything for the Godzilla NES game, and you find, you know, all these details about it, Wikipedia or wherever else, but they don't mention these purple blob things have a name or anything in particular. But no, I won't give up. I must know what they are. What are they called? Can you imagine me writing a letter to the president of Toho? Mr. President, what are these purple blob things supposed to be? His response would be like, you know, like, get a job! And the whole staff's laughing at me in the video. He's pointing and laughing, or get a picture of some African guys laughing, and I'd be pissed off because they're not even Japanese. Racist! Hey, wait a minute, I think I found it. I was looking around on Toho Monsters, and I happened to stumble across one called Dagora. It's the only one that seems remotely close to what these things could be, which is Dagora the Space Monster. Released in Japan as... yeah, I'm not going to try to pronounce that. I guess it's a space jellyfish of sorts. Giant space monster jellyfish thing. I don't know. But based off this footage, I would have to assume that that's what these things are supposed to be. Otherwise, I have no freaking clue. I can never find it. It's Japan. I don't ask these things anymore. Other than that, each stage, again, is pretty much annoying. The jungle ones being the easiest, I felt. Even though they can hurt you quite a bit, but it's very straightforward and easy. No super annoying obstacles, I thought, in the jungle stages. That they were the best. So, and in order to beat the stage, you don't just kill the monsters on it. You can kill the monsters, and the game's still going, or the stage is still going. What you have to do is get to the very end of the stage, this weird-looking bubble building place. Each stage has it. And once you beat it with the monster, which is like a big, you know, looking city or base type of stage, this is probably one of the most annoying as well, because sometimes they go on forever. Once you beat it, you teleport that monster to the next planet, and if you don't do this properly, it can be a real pain in the ass. Like, say you decide to level up Godzilla only and forget Mothra. Oh my god, good luck. You can get experience and levels up from killing just regular enemies and stuff, but it's a very slow, drawn-out process. To get good levels up, you have to kill the actual monsters. And as I said earlier, Mothra is completely useless. And you just don't want to use him. You just don't want to use him. He's so annoying. He's the worst monster ever in this game. There's a way around that, though. What you have to do, in order to you can just forget Mothra altogether and not bother wasting your time getting from all the way from the start of the game stage to the end and waste your time playing with him. You don't have to play with him at all. Here's what you do. You take him, you kill him off right away, And then you can beat the stage with Godzilla, and you go to the next stage, and he comes back to life, Mothra. That's it. But make sure you do it in that order. Make sure you kill Mothra first, then beat it with Godzilla. Because I one time forgot the order, and I beat the stage with Godzilla first, then killed Mothra, and the game's game over. I'm like, what? But Godzilla didn't die. Why is it game over? Stupid, broken friggin' game. Good job. So that's pretty much the entire game, really. Each level has a new set of monsters you have to kill. You get levels up while fighting them. You beat each stage until you get to Planet X. You have to fight every single monster in the game. This is the only stage you fight Ghidorah. And when you beat Ghidorah and beat the level as you normally would like any other level, you beat the game. And the ending is actually not too bad for an NES game, because, you know, most NES games were game over. Thanks for playing, congratulations. And they spelled congratulations wrong. In this game, they actually, give you an ending. You know, it's not the most exciting ending, but for NES standards, this is not bad. It's, it's pretty well translated, I guess. It pretty much just says, oh, we lost all our monsters, we failed, and we'll never see Ghidorah and Guardiane again for some reason. Like, since when have those monsters ever fully died off? They would somehow come back. And who's saying all this? I mean, why did you not kill off these guys too? Why are you giving them a chance to come back? Godzilla and Mothra should have murdered them all so they don't come back and challenge us again. Then you get a roll call of all the monsters, and that's pretty nice. Some of them doing, like, look at Hedorah here. You never see Hedorah do this. When does he turn into a blob like this in the game? Why is this sprite not shown? Why is it only in the credits? I wonder what they actually intended for this to do. Maybe it was harder in some other version of the game. So if I had to rank the monsters from easiest to hardest, I'd probably have to start with Varan, because even though he's the third monster you encounter, he doesn't hurt you, and he doesn't pin you in a corner like Ghidorah does. So he's simple. Ghidorah being the second, because, again, doesn't hurt you, but annoyingly pins you in a corner and you want to gouge his friggin' eyes out. I'm okay. And then maybe after that, Hedorah? Because Hedorah doesn't really do much except throw these weird bubbles at you and flail his weird arms. He does hurt you, but I'd say Mogira being next would hurt you more. He's the second monster, and he's pretty irritating with his laser eyes, but again, doesn't really come close to killing you. Next being probably Baragaon. He's really annoying, so he can jump at you and pin you in a corner sometimes as well, but doesn't hurt you as much as, say, like Guardiane would. Which I'd say would probably be next. They're pretty much in order. Like the order you encounter them in is how hard, the difficulty level, I'd say, is appropriate. Guardiane and Mechagodzilla being equal, because even though Guardiane can pin you in a corner, you can, if you know what you're doing, deflect him. Mechagodzilla just keep hammering you with a stupid eye laser beam, so he can kill you. Ghidorah being impossible, the hardest, because if he pins you in a corner, if he decides to do that, you're dead. There's nothing you can do, and he drains your health faster than Guardiane does with his stupid blades. So it is a challenging game. It can be, but it's pretty monotonous. It's the same thing over and over again. There's not too much to the fighting aspect of it. It's not like the games released in the future where they have, the Street Fighter style fighting versions of these games, which I wish I would have had when I was a kid. That would have been friggin' fantastic. These are those games they released afterwards, like Xbox and all them. The games I wanted now, or then. Sorry, I wanted then. But of course, that's too far in the future, and we were stuck with what we had. That's why this Godzilla game was so much fun. I thought it was the only one. Until they released, like I said, Godzilla 2! Oh, that game was fun! Well, it was such a letdown, but I'm going to review that as one of the worst games next, to show you why it was so bad. So one last thing I thought I'd throw in here just to conclude all this. It's kind of off topic, but if you're a fan of the NES Godzilla game like I was, and you're into scary stories or creepy stories, or the internet meme known as creepypasta, if you ever heard of that term, it probably sounds strange, but all internet memes are strange. Pretty much what a creepypasta is the name given to all kinds of weird urban legend type things going on in the internet. Some are stories, some are images, some are videos, and all of them are potential making you crap your pants material. None of the legends are true. They're all fake, made-up stories. Urban legends, I guess, is another way of saying it. So, anyway, if you're into creepypastas, you might want to look up Google, just simply Google, or look up this link here. I'll put it on the screen. Creepypasta Godzilla, or Godzilla Creepypasta, and you'll find it. Basically, what this is, some guy took the time to write a story, and to sum up the story, I won't go into great detail, is that when he was a kid, anyway, a fan of the Godzilla game, and when he got older, he wanted to play it again, but he didn't have the copy of the game anymore. So a friend of his gave him the game to play, but apparently it was cursed or possessed, and he didn't know that until he put the game into his console. He didn't even know it was cursed at the time. He just thought it was a completely different layout, and it played really weird. It's like, what's going on? Is this like a modded version of the game? And like I said, it turns out to be cursed or possessed, and starts doing weird things, and it keeps playing the game, and the more you play, the more messed up it gets. And I thought it was really well done, because not only did it tell the story well, but he takes screenshots or sprites from the NES game and photoshops them to make it look like the legit screenshots from the game he was playing at the time. He tries to say that he's taking screenshots as he was playing to prove that it was a legitimate story he's telling. So it's really well done, but you can tell later on throughout the story, like toward the end, that the screenshots, quote-unquote screenshots, are clearly photoshopped, because he even says in the story, to try and make it sound like more legit, is that, oh, these don't even look like NES graphics anymore. But yeah, clearly they aren't. But still, it was still really well done. It's actually believable almost, and that's what keeps you, like, the more believable it is, the more scary it is, right? So I thought it was really well done. There are other creepypasta video game stories out there where they actually made a modded ROM file. They pretty much make the story seem even more legit, because you can play the game he's talking about in the story. They haven't done this for Godzilla, though. I wish they would. It would be really cool to play a modded ROM to go with the story to make it even more scary, but that'd probably be really, really hard to do. Anyway, that's I just thought I'd throw that in there to finish this up. Otherwise, that's number 7, Godzilla for the NES.
But I'm the best.